Hello world, Will White here, Pike Tantler Project Survival Skills Center. Again, if you don't know who we are and what we do, we teach real world survival skills to real people in a real way. No nonsense, we just give you the facts that will keep your butts alive in a survival situation. So today we're doing a pro tip on guns. Two different styles of gun. Got your pistol, handgun, they're both handguns, and your revolver. Let me just clarify the difference. These are both handguns. You hold them in your hand, like it's a one-handed shooter, more or less. The revolver has a segment with a cylinder that revolves or rotates. A handgun does not. The pistol has a slide and is magazine fed, ready to go. I'm gonna give you two tips. One will increase your shooting accuracy if you don't already do this. So if you're a pro shooter, this is probably not for you. But if you're a beginner shooter or intermediate, take these tips because they will help increase your accuracy. So before you start, make sure your magazine is not present. So here's your magazine. Don't want that. It's not a clip, by the way, at all in any way, shape, or form. This is a magazine. Clip is something totally different. So make sure that's out. I can see daylight through here. I can see daylight through here. Now, what I like to do to make sure 100% there's no risk of anything being chambered in here, what I like to do is go and put my pinky in the mag well so I know there's nothing in there. I also look, I can see my pinky. I look down the feed ramp, and I also like to touch just to make sure. Pull clear, 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 boom, or pull the trigger in a safe direction. So your first tip, I want you to think about a rambunctious little wiry 7-year-old that's just throwing a fit and you have to calm him down because he's being dangerous. Now, if you go and grab him by the wrist or even by both wrists, how much room does he still have to move? A lot. What if you were just to turn the kid around, bear hug him, sit him down, wrap your legs around him and have your legs overlapped? How much room is he gonna have to move? Very little. So what I often see, and this is up to you, this is my opinion, it works very, very, very well for me, and it should for you. So, back in the day, your support hand would be my left hand, non-dominant. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to try to improve your accuracy, what I recommend, thumb comes here, nice tight grip around, and then lastly is your index finger wraps around the trigger guard. So this is nice and steady. Obviously you gotta move your finger for shooting, but it should look something like this. So make sure you're not riding this release, stay under it. So nice tight grip here, and it comes here, index finger over, thumb stays here, don't ride the release. When you're ready to fire, finger comes off, you're ready to fire. So my position looks like this. And wait a second, hold on. Whether you're right or left-handed, if I were to switch grips, my thumb would be here. What's right there? I don't know if you can see that. Oh, look, it's a little thumbprint. Is it on both sides? Yes, it is. I wonder why the manufacturer did that. I wonder why this is curved. Could it possibly be so I can have my finger secure here and thumb there for support? Absolutely. The metaphor with the kid, that's all wiry and hard to control. You create more points of contact, there's less room for movement. So with a gun, a firearm, less room for movement means more accuracy. So there's your first tip. And when you squeeze the trigger, you should see minimal movement. And if it pulls left or right, well, that stuff will be covered in the gun class. So that's your tip on this type of gun. Here's your other tip. Pay attention to this. Don't do what I just said to do with a revolver. You don't want to do that. Revolver, you want to be behind where the cylinder meets your barrel. So that would be this section right here. This feeds in right here. You want to stay away from this area. Stay away from this area. The reason you don't want to have your thumb here is all the gas that gets projected out of this. A lot of the gas does come out where the cylinder meets the barrel. And I'll show you that in just a second. So you want to have support behind this section, like so. This is totally fine. Okay? So here's what just happened. We did an experiment and burned some holes in this washcloth. So all I did, I wrapped this around the no-no spot here, taped it on, fired a few rounds, and I'll show you what happens. it blew that right off. Burn marks. Oh yeah. So I'm looking at the, I don't know if you can see the daylight through that, a little bit of finger. So definitely burnt it, and the pressure blew this right off. So you can see it actually burnt holes. Not completely, but you can see the daylight difference and where all the charred marks are. So I'd say that's